Okay, welcome to my Algebra 2 students. We have a test on Friday covering chapter 1, sections 1 through 16. This will be focused solely on 1-4 through 16. You have the 1 through 13 review already on YouTube. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you watched it and need more practice, watch it again. Okay, but here we go. So we'll have some problems from sections 4 through 6 that will be like the ones on your quiz. So let's talk about the test. Let's talk about the first problem here. First problem says solve. C over 6 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, so we want to solve for C. So first thing, get this C over 6 alone. And the way we do that is we subtract 3 from both sides. And when you subtract 3, the C over 6 comes down, the 3's go away, and 5 minus 3 is 2. And now, we need to get this C alone. Well, right now it's being divided by 6. So let's times both sides by 6. And notice how I talked to you about putting it in parentheses, right, just to show it. So timesing by 6 and dividing by 6 cancels, and there's my variable. 2 times 6 is 12. Now remember, all of these problems are checkable. And I would suggest if you have time, you check. Don't turn it in until you have checked by plugging 12 in for C. 12 over 6 plus 3 equals 5. And simplify. 12 over 6 is 2. And 2 plus 3 is 5. This is a true statement, so C equals 12 is the correct solution. Okay, here is our next problem. 3 times w minus 6 equals negative 7 times w plus 4. So to do this problem, we first must get rid of the parenthesis by distributing the 3 and the negative 7. So this is going to be 3w. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18, so minus 18. Equals, this is going to be negative 7w. And negative 7 times positive 4 is negative 28, minus 28. So now let's focus on these w's. Get them together. Well, let's move the negative 7 to the left by adding it. And if I do it here, I have to do it there. So I'm adding 7w. Okay? These are like terms. Let's add them together. 3 and 7 is 10w. The minus 18 comes down. The 7w's cancel, and the minus 28 comes down. And now this is a two-step problem. First step, let's add 18. Again, we're trying to get w alone, so let's add 18. The 10w comes down. The 18s will cancel. And negative 28 plus 18, that's just 28 negatives adding 18 positives. 18 positives cancel out with 18 negatives, and it leaves you with 10 negatives left over. There are more negatives here than positives. 10 more. And then we divide by 10. And a negative 10 divided by a positive 10 is a negative 1. And there's the value of w. Again, check if you want to and if you have time. Okay, here's our next problem. This says 2d minus 6 equals 1/4 d plus 1. And, you know, I'm gonna make that 1/4 better. Okay, real quick. So I see this 1/4 and I say, you know what, I really don't want to deal with the fraction. So we look at finding an LCD. Okay? So remember, when you're doing LCDs, you look for all the denominators. Well, there's only one denominator of 4, so the LCD is going to be 4. Now, if you have multiple different denominators, you have to find the common multiple. So over here, just as an example, say you had a 1/3 and a 3/4 in your problem somewhere. So to find the common denominator between 3 and 4, we would take 3 and 4, and we'd find multiples. Now again, this is a separate problem. So the multiples of 3 are 3 times 1 is 3, 2 is 6, 3 is 9, 4 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4, 8, 12. Here would be the LCD in this problem. Okay? But we're here, where there's only one denominator, and it's a 4. So we're going to use that 4. Once you've identified the LCD, you are going to multiply everything in your problem by 4. So we're going to take the left side, times it by 4. We're going to take the right side, times it by 4. And it's a big distribution problem. So I'm going to, this is separate here. So I'm going to come down below. 4 times 2d is 8 d. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. 1/4 times 4, the 4 goes to the top only. The denominator stays the same. And 4 times positive 1 is positive 4. And I say, Mr. Chappell, the fraction didn't disappear. Well, it's magic. 4 over 4 is 1. And we don't need to write the 1, because there's a d there. You can write the 1 if you want to, but you don't need to. And now our problem is fractionless and life is good. Get the d's together by subtracting d from both sides. So we get 7d minus 24 equals 4. Let's add 24 to both sides. 7d, the 24's cancel. We get equals 28. And let's divide by 7. D equals 4. And there we go. There's the final answer. D equals 4. Okay, so here's our next problem, and it's sort of a adjustment to a problem we did in class, but I want to do this one because it's important for your test. You have two summer jobs. You mow lawns for $9 per hour and wash cars for $8 per hour. You earn $250 and work a total of 29 hours. How many hours do you mow lawns? Okay. Well, there are two variables in this problem. The two variables are m, and let's let m be the hours you mow lawns. Hours you mow. And then you don't want to bring another variable into it, okay? So how can we write, because there's hours you wash cars, hours you wash. How can we write this without bringing another variable into the problem? Well, think about this m. M is how much you mow, and you do a total of 29 hours. So if we mow for m hours, then if I subtract m from 29, that gives me the hours I wash. 29 minus m. Because together, if I add these together, take the m hours, add the 29 minus m hours, you get 29 hours. This gives you the total number of hours right here. Okay? So these are the two expressions we'll use in our equation. So you earn a total of $250. You mow lawns at $9 per hour for m hours. You wash cars $8 per hour, and the number of hours you work are the total hours minus the hours you mow. And again, we let m be the hours you mow because that's what you want. How many hours do you mow lawns? You want that as your answer. So let that be your variable. So now we have to simplify this, okay? So to simplify, we are going to distribute the 8 first. So we have 250 equals 9m. 8 times 29 is 232. Trust the calculator. 8 times negative m is negative 8m. Now, we want to simplify. I see like terms here. We just do 9 minus 8. That's 1m. Don't need to write the 1 if you don't want to. And the plus 232 comes. And now to get m completely alone, let's subtract 232. 250 minus 232 is 18, and that is m. So how many hours do you mow? For 18 hours. This is a very good problem because they don't give you, there's two unknowns, the hours you mow and the hours you wash cars. They don't give you one of those, but they give you the total, so you can let one be a variable, and then for the other amount of hours, you subtract from the total. Okay? So it's kind of a confusing idea, but focus on this problem and make sure you can do something like this. Okay, here's our next problem. We're just going to take a formula that we have, and we're going to solve for a variable in the formula. So remember, multiple variables, no big deal, just solve for the one they want. So it says solve for m. So that means it better say m equals in the answer. Okay? Well, here's the m. It's being multiplied by this c squared. This is E equals mc squared. This is at Einstein. This is Einstein's famous equation. I don't know, something about, energy, whatever. But this is Einstein's equation. So m times c squared. So to get the m by itself, we're going to divide by c squared. We get e over c squared equals the c squareds cancel on the right. And that says m equals, and that's all that I want. This will be A. We'll do a second problem too. Okay, this one has a little bit more numbers. This is your temperature equation. F equals 9/5 C plus 32. And we're going to solve it for C. So in the end, it better say C equals. Okay? So first thing I'll do, don't touch this 9/5 C. Get rid of the 32, the positive 32. So to get rid of it, I'll subtract 32 from both sides. Right? Everything you do is from both sides. Now, this F minus 32, they are not like terms. They cannot combine. F minus 32. That equals the 9/5 C comes down and the 32's cancel. So now this 9/5 C is being multiplied, they're being multiplied together. So I need to get rid of the 9/5. Now, instead of dividing by 9/5, we are going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 9/5. Remember, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay? So when you divide by a fraction, you need to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to take both sides and multiply by 5/9. Okay? So on the left side, we distribute the 5/9. So it's 5/9 F. And then 5/9 times negative 32. I do not believe it simplifies. So the 32 just goes to the top. That's 160 over 9. Right? Multiply 5 times 32, that's 160. Equals over here, the 5/9 and the 9/5 cancel, and there's my C. And there's your equation that says C equals. Okay? So don't be alarmed of all these variables. Just solve it for the variable and move everything. And remember, combine only the like terms. Okay, so here's a problem with x and y, and it says solve for y, okay? Like this problem. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the x thingy, okay? Now, I know there's a bunch of fractions here, and you could get rid of the fractions if you want to right away, but I'm going to just do it with the fractions, because when I solve for y, first thing I'll do is I'll move the 3/4 x. It's addition, so the 3/4 x is positive, so I will subtract 3/4 x. From both sides. And again, remember we want to say y equals in the end. That's what we want, okay? So over here, the 3/4 x cancels. The 7/8 y comes down. And on the right side, I'm going to put the x first because there's this thing called slope-intercept form, and the x usually comes first. So negative 3/4 x, the x term. And then this is a positive 5 comes after. So I did not combine these because the 5 has no x and the negative 3/4 does. Now, to get y all alone, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 7/8 here, which is 8/7, and over here, 8/7. So on the right side, the 8/7 and the 7/8 cancel, and there's a y. Now on the left side. On the right side, we need to distribute. So we need to do negative 3/4 times negative 8. Negative 3/4 times 8/7. Negative 3/4 times 8/7. You multiply straight across. So it is going to be negative, because it's a negative times a positive. And 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28. The x comes with it. And then 5 times 8/7, they're both positive, so it's positive, and the 5 goes to the top. 40 over 7. Now the last thing I can do is I can simplify 24 over 28. Both are divisible by 4. So simplify it. Okay? And when I do that, I get y equals 24 divided by 4 is 6, so negative 6 over 28 divided by 4 is 7. Negative 6 over 7, the x comes after, plus, and then 47 does not simplify. Okay? So there's part A. Now I'm going to scoot it over and we'll do a part B as well. Okay, so the next part now says find y when x equals 2. So here's this equation we just created. Y equals negative 6/7 x plus 40 over 7. Don't use the original, use this guy. And now, let x be 2. So the x is a 2. Okay. So what does this 2 do? It multiplies with the 6. So y, this is going to be negative 12 sevenths plus 40 sevenths. When you're adding fractions, they have a common denominator, which is a good thing. So the denominator stays 7, and we do negative 12 plus 40. And negative 12 plus 40 is positive 28. 12 negatives, 40 positives. Many more positives. How many more? 28. And now that simplifies. 28 over 7 is 4. And there's the y value when x is 2. So again, we solve for y by making it say y equals, move things around, combine only the like terms, and then define y when x is whatever, plug in x. There we go. Okay, so this is another variation of a problem we worked on in class. Your baseball team is raising money by selling caps and t-shirts. Caps cost $5 each and t-shirts cost $10 each. Write an equation to represent the total revenue. Okay, so we have 3 variables, t. We'll use R. Let's use R for the total revenue. C for the number of caps sold. So number of caps. And we'll let lowercase t be the number of t-shirts. There's our 3 variables. So the revenue, how much money you make, is going to be equal to the cost of a cap times the number of caps sold plus the cost of a t-shirt times the number of t-shirts sold. Here is your revenue equation. Okay? Okay, so now the problem says, okay, we have this revenue equation. We need to raise $2,400. Give one combination of caps and t-shirts that will do this. Okay? So we'll take our revenue equation, and this is R, right? This is R. So down here I'll plug it in. So 2,400 equals 5c plus 10t. And now we need to pick a value for either c or t, one that we think would work. And I would use a round number, like a multiple of 10, okay, 5 or 10. So let's say we sold 200 caps. Okay, just a nice round number. So that means 2,400 equals 5 times 200 plus 10t. And let's simplify this and we can solve for t. So 2,400 equals 1,000 plus 10t. Subtract 1,000 from both sides. That's 1,400 equals 10t. Let me scoot it down a little bit. And now we'll divide by 10. And I get 140 equals t. So there's a good combination. So how much did we sell? We sold 200 caps and 140 t-shirts. There are many answers to this problem as long as they come out nice and neat numbers. You can pick any number for C or T, plug it in, and then find the other one. Many, many combinations here. Okay, here's our next question. We have 2 more left. Okay, so in this problem it says you drive an average of 52 miles per hour from Twinsburg to Toledo. The trip is roughly 135 miles. How long did it take? Okay. First, we need the equation. Well, this is a distance equals rate times time problem. We are looking for how long it takes. How long? So t is our variable, time. So I better have a distance and a rate. My distance is 135 miles. My rate is 52, and t is my time. So to solve for t, divide by 52. And in my calculator, 135 divided by 52 is 2 point yada yada yada, go to 1 decimal place, 2.6. So how many hours did it take? 2.6 hours. So a little bit more than 2.5 hours. Okay, there you go. Alright, one more problem. Okay, this is the last problem. This is a very typical algebra problem here. Woodshop, you are working on a project. You have a wooden rod that is 72 inches long. You need to cut the rod so that one piece is 6 inches longer than the other. Okay? So forget the thing. We need to find out how long each piece should be. So you must draw a picture. You must. It's too hard to think about in your head. Here's my rod. It is 72 inches long. I need to make a cut so that I have two pieces. One is a length, and the other one is 6 inches longer than that length. So do not cut it down the middle, cut it down here. So this is obviously the smaller piece, and this is the larger piece, right? Okay. So one piece has to be your variable, and the other piece is referenced from that variable. Well, it says that one piece is 6 inches longer than the other. So the smaller one, let that be x. So then the larger one is 6 inches longer. If it says longer, bigger, greater than, that means addition. There we go. Now, how do we create an equation now? Well, this piece plus this piece gives you the entire thing. X plus 6 gives you 72. There's your equation for this problem. And now we do x and x, that's 2x, right? Combine your like terms. Subtract 6. The 6's cancel, and 2x equals 66, and divide by 2. And we get x is 33. So back on my picture, x is 33. There's one piece. The other one is 6 inches longer than that. Add 6 to 33. You get 39. And math is magical, because guess what 33 and 39 is? 72, the length of your original piece. So it all makes sense. So we need to draw a picture, let one length be x, and then go from there. Okay, sorry about the extra length. This is a big test. Hopefully you prepare and study, and we'll see you on Friday.